What is building services? What are building services? These are the common services in a building. Think, common sense. In a building operation, you need plumbing and sanitary services. What are plumbing and sanitary? Water supply, drainage, to drain your hand wash basin, to drain your toilet. What is electrical? Anything to do with power, electricity that power your light, your fan, your aircon, projector, computer, blah, blah, blah. Fire protection. It's a critical installation in the building, especially for a tall building. Fire protection includes your sprinkler, includes your fire alarm, your exit sign, your emergency light, the control to the lift, control to the lighting outside, control to the fan in the staircase, the pressurizing fan that pressurizes the staircase core so that fire and smoke doesn't get into the staircase. Air conditioning and mechanical ventilation. Air conditioning, very easy to understand, your aircon. Ventilation, mechanical, fan in the classroom, fan in the toilet, fan in the lobby downstairs, fan in the elevator, fan in the staircases, and then anywhere else that requires ventilation. Elevator, the lifts, you have travelator, you have escalator, all these will be part of your building services. There are many, many more than these lists. These are only the common types of building services. Other building services would include your CCTV, your telecommunication, your detection system, your sensors, your communication like internet. A different building, different usage has different types of services requirement. In the plumbing and sanitary system, power, water supply, drainage, you need to have conduit, the pipe to channel the water in and channel water out. So you need to have different types of pipe or different types of fluid inside. You can use cast iron pipe for drainage, ductile iron pipe for water supply, galvanized steel, we have corrosion protection, concrete pipe for large diameter, copper pipe for small diameter, water supply to your toilet, to your washroom, stainless steel pipe if you want to have long-lasting material, UPVC pipe for temporary setup. So here it gives you the more detail of the different material in the pipe. Cast iron pipe has high strength because it's cast using molten iron. Can have load bearing capacity. Very heavy, can resist corrosion very well. Ductile iron, high resistance to fracture. Ductile iron, you can bend it to different shape, different bend, but you cannot bend cast iron pipe. Therefore, if you want to change direction, you must have the elbow that is specially manufactured to be attached at the corner where it turns. But ductile iron you can bend. Ductile iron you can line it with cement inside to improve the corrosion resistance, to bring about better quality of water. Because if you allow the water come into contact with steel, steel can potentially rust, can cause impurity in the water. But if you line it with cement, you can then have better quality. You have corrosive environment outside. You may want to protect the pipe with bituminous coating, with wraps, or even cast in concrete. Galvanized steel. Why you want to galvanize it? For better protection to the pipe, for certain requirement. Concrete pipe, bigger diameter, you need it to last long. However, it can become very heavy. Copper pipe, easy to use. You can weld the joint, you can bend it to any shape. Typically use it for smaller diameter water supply. Copper pipe, even though it's very common, in certain types of water can deteriorate due to the reaction with the metal. Therefore nowadays in old houses, copper pipe is now normally changed to stainless steel, changed to other types of material to prevent corrosion in the pipe. Stainless steel is the best, but the most expensive. Very rigid, good resistance to corrosion, good appearance because it doesn't stain. UPVC, good, lightweight, can bend to any shape, but it can get damaged to exposure of UV, ultraviolet in the sunlight. Less strength, useful for temporary setup, for easy installation. If you can protect it well, it can last quite long. What factor give you the choice of the material? You want to look at the durability, how long you want that pipe to last. What is the fluid that it carries? What's the pressure that fluid carries? High pressure, you may need to have more rigid material, more rigid type of joint. Temperature of the fluid, if you are in the manufacturing condition, some uses very high temperature in the fluid they use, like steam in a concrete plant, precast plant, they use steam curing. So your pipe needs to withstand the temperature of the steam that is carried in the pipe. Resistance to corrosion, you must see what is the condition where your pipe is exposed to. Any harmful effect on the water conveyed, if it is drinking water, you may need to consider the material that does not have any deterioration effect to your water supply. Welcome. You might as well don't come. You also want to consider the ease of installation. It's a temporary, quick job. You may want to select the material that allows you to install it very quickly, like the copper pipe. The water supply system, whether it's direct water supply from the PUB main PUB main has quite a high pressure. Pipe selection must fulfill and be able to carry that pressure direct from the PUB main. Indirect supply through your water storage tank, water tank in the roof, then your water pressure is much reduced. Indirect supply from pump, that pressure is in between the main supply and the water tank supply. Then you need to select the material correctly that it can cater for that pressure. Along the way of your pipe, you will have different setup. You may have valves, you may have corners, you may have different angles, you may need to have different types of valves to control the water. You may have to change the distribution network. There are rules and regulations that governs the type of valves requirement. You read into the M&E drawing, you see different types of valves in one building for different reasons. For quick closure, for emergency closure, you need to have that stopcock type where it can be easily operated in the case of emergency. So for normal usage in your house, in your unit, you may have the turn gate valve. So you can turn and adjust the volume, adjust the pressure to regulate what you want to get out of the pipe. For indirect water supply, there are also requirements to check the pressure, to have different types of gate valve for different diameter, different pressure. For water supply from PUB, every household, every installation has a meter to tell you how much water you have consumed from the water supply. And each cubic meter that you consume in Singapore, guess how much you have to pay? Each cubic meter. 1 cubic meter is about that much water. 1 cubic meter that you consume in your house. How much do you pay PUB for it? Anyone knows? Take a guess. How much dollars do you pay? You have to pay to consume 1 cubic cube of water. $70. 30 or 13? 13. Okay, that's quite a big gap. Others, $70 here, $13 here. $3. Okay, even lower. Anyone from here? How much do you think you pay, or the household pay, PUB, for every cubic of water? Sorry? 50, 50. So 70, 50, 13, and $3. 40. $2. Where did you find the information from? Can someone Google PUB water tariff? What do you find? How much do you pay per cubic meter of water? 2.94 per cubic meter of water from PUB. Are you sure? Let's verify that. Price per cubic meter from 1st April this year, total $2.94 per cubic meter if you use less than 40 meters cubed. So you pay $70 for a few months. What do you think the cost of water that BOB gets before they supply to you? Just one information. Malaysia supplied raw water to Singapore from Johor, one of the reservoir, piped to Singapore. Malaysia sells, this is a agreement with the two countries. Malaysia sells 1 million cubic meter of water, 1 million gallon of water to Singapore and few dollars. I think it's $6. 1 million gallon, $6. That was the agreement signed 1960. And over the years, there have been renegotiation of the price. I think it's now in the range of $10. But that's raw water. If he gets that raw water supply, he needs to treat, he needs to purify. The process costs a little money to purify. Singapore is one of the several countries in the world that you can drink directly from the tank. So the level of purification is quite substantial, very high quality water that you get from the tank. So that process requires a lot of money to purify, but once you have the system set up, the continuous process, you can bring that cost down. So therefore now you get to enjoy potable water at only less than $3 per cubic meter. How much water do you use when you shower? It varies. You, to him, to her, to me. Different people uses different amount of water. How long do you spend in your shower? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours? Standard is less than 15 minutes. Do not spend too much time because you tend to waste a lot of water. Water is a critical commodity for a country like Singapore because there is no water natural supply. It relies on the sky, relies on purification from seawater, recovery from sewage, and of course, Malaysia supply. So back to our lecture on plumbing and sanitary. Water, you need to pay for the usage of it. Therefore, you need the meter to be installed at your household. You have the BOB officer come and read the meter every month and send you a bill, and you pay. Water tank that you see in the top of the roof of every block. Water tank needs to be designed because it carries a lot of water. Water has a unit weight of, what is the unit weight of water? Every cubic meter of water weighs how much? What is the weight of the 1 cubic meter of water? one number that you must remember. 1,000 kilogram. 1,000 kilogram or 1 ton per meter cube. That is the standard unit weight of water. What is the unit weight of concrete? How much it weighs for 1 cubic meter of concrete? Also a number that you should be familiar with. 2450, 2,450 kilogram or 2.45 ton per cubic meter of concrete. Moving up, what is the unit weight of steel? How much a cubic meter of steel weighs? What is the unit weight of density of steel? I heard that number. 7,850 kilogram per cubic meter of steel, or 7.85 tons. What is the unit weight of wood? What is the unit weight of wood? 300 to 900 kilogram per cubic meter, depending on what type of wood. What is that number signify? What does that number signify? 300 to 900 kilogram. When you compare to water, water is 1,000, wood is 300 to 900. Wood is less than water. What does that mean? Wood floats in water because it has less density. So you need to have that in mind as comparison. So you can use this number to estimate. You see the water tank, you know the volume, you know the height, you know the width, you know the depth. You can estimate the weight of this water tank. If it is 2 meter by 2 meter by 2 meter deep, 2 times 2 times 2, 8 ton. Similarly, for wood, you can estimate how heavy is that piece of column in MET, in CLT, in glue lamp. You know the volume, you know the density of the wood. You can then estimate that weight. You can estimate the concrete structure. How heavy is that concrete structure? The steel structure, for that matter. By knowing the density, by knowing the unit weight. Now you have all this information with you now. When you go out, look at structure, you can estimate the weight of that structure. Back to this, in the water tank construction, in those roofs, there are many items within that water tank. First, you have the structure, you have the 4 walls and the base. Sometimes you may have the roof as well. To access it, you need ladder to get up to the top and then go down inside. You need pipe connecting to it to supply water. You need pipe connecting to it to provide water. You need devices to check the level. You need valves to control the volume in, volume out. You need the vent pipe to vent out additional pressure. You need indicator because from outside you can't see what's inside through the concrete wall. Therefore, you need the indicator, which is a small pipe installed outside of that concrete wall that gives you what is the level of water inside a water tank, which is very similar to water standpipe. Earlier on we talked about in the instrumentation. It's the same concept. Construction of water tank can be constructed using concrete, reinforced concrete, can be steel, can be reinforced polymer, GRP, plastic, aluminium, and any other material that you can use that is strong enough to sustain the pressure. You need to have a wadding pipe. Wadding pipe is like an overflow pipe. If there is any mistake or any problem, anomaly of your gate valve or your control valve or the level indicator, then you allow the water to overflow. But once you see the water overflow, you know something is wrong. It has exceeded the level of the water tank. Within the plumbing and sanitary system, you will have the different wares. What are the sanitary wares? Those you see in the toilet, the washroom, bathtub, basin, the tap, your shower head, your WC, water closet, urinal for men, soap holder, the flush valves, the sensor. So there are many other items within your toilets that are classified as sanitary wares. Even within the WC, you have the cistern that contains the water for your flush. These are the different sanitary ware. One on the right, you only see in male toilet. What is the one in the middle? It's called a bidet. B-E-D-I. For you to wash your back end. You sit down, you turn on the valve, it washes your back end. If you go to Japan, Japan has a lot of study on toilet. The big name is called Toto, T-O-T-O. Very famous brand. They've done a lot of research since 1960. They've researched into toilet, and they make one of the best toilets in the world. In many toilets you visit in Japan, you go there, the toilet or this WC is automatic. When you approach, the lid will open, sit down there. If it's in the cold winter season, you get warmed up. You do your business. After you finish, you press a button, the water spray will come and wash you. Finish that, the fan will turn up and dry you. And at the end, you stand up, they say thank you. There's a museum in Japan called Toto Sanitary Ware Museum, where it showcases the different researchers have done, the different types of toilet. Very high technology. I visited that museum last year. Different sanitary ware include the washroom, the shower cubicle, the shower jet itself, wash basin also come in different style, different makers, different material, different color, different finishes, different shape and sizes. The bath, rarely used now in Singapore context, unless you want to pamper yourself, sit in the bath for hours. However, shower room is the more common these days. Sink in your toilet, in your kitchen. So it has different design. Urinal only happen in male's toilet. Urinal also have gone through revolution in terms of the design. Different terms used in the sanitary system, sanitary and plumbing system, indicates a network of pipes that provides water and allows discharge of water. Sewerage, on the other hand, takes the different types of water. Sewerage water, different from your sanitary water. Sanitary water is your shower, your hand basin, that are not contaminated. Sewerage, however, is those that you sit and you let go. Those are sewerage contaminated. They have to be treated and carried in different pipe network. Waste discharge will be those trade effluent from the factory, from the production flow. Soil discharge, quite similar. This is the sewerage system. In Singapore, there is a system called DTSS, Deep Tunnel Sewerage System, DTSS. There are two main systems now, DTSS East, which carries all the effluent from the east side all the way to Changi Water Reclamation Plant, CWRP. Then the west side carries all the west effluent to the Tuas Water Reclamation Plant, which is under construction. The whole system is quite complex. It costs about $4 billion to build. $4 billion. Involves large diameter pipes that links from literally anywhere within Singapore into the main trunk. The main trunk pipe diameter is 6 meter diameter. 6 meter is like your MRT tunnel. And depth 60 meter deep. And that carries all the way through to the reclamation plant and get recovered and reclaimed through the different processes into what you see in the bottle that you put through your mouth. Of course, there are wastes from that production, and that waste is then discharged into the sea at the end. And even this structure, the discharge structure, is huge. It extends into the sea up to 2 kilometers. Within the house, there's a code of practice for your drainage system design. This is the typical design in the washroom, where you have the discharge from basin, discharge from bath, discharge from your WC. It has to be treated differently, piped differently. And the drain connect to your main sewer trunk. The sanitary water will discharge to the drain rather than to the sewer line. where we will stop today. We've just started on building services, touching on the plumbing and sanitary services or system that supplies the water and discharge sanitary water from your basin, from your bath, into drain. But your WC and other soil effluent will have to be discharged into a sewerage system, which is a different system from the sanitary system. Right, there are different types of pipe earlier on you saw, different condition, different temperature, different environment will call for the use of different material. And also looking at the duration, how long you want that pipe to last, and what type of fluid that you want to carry within that pipe. Question from anyone? In a few days' time, I will get to inspect your assignment when you submit it in Brightspace. Hopefully, it's all good. Then the following 2 days, I will see your presentation. Make sure that every single member gets to present part of it. And I will ask you a question based on your presentation. Please understand this. Whatever you put it on the slide, make sure you know everything about it. All right, so that's all for today. See you